And we're live.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's the one, the only V, the Girl Economist, and you know what day it is? It's Hump Day with my main man, Bix V.
That
Uh,
wasn't me.
that wasn't me. That's actually my little 5-year-old who's hijacking my headset because I'm on babysitting duty.
All right.
Over here. Well, you're trying to reach for my headset.
Let the
Get
battles
off
continue.
my hijack. Yo, Bix V, it's Hump Day. We're coming to you live. This is unedited. This is raw radio. You know how it's real. Bix, what's going on, bro? How are you?
I had a week off with my family down at Disneyland and Universal Studios, so I know exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, dude, I'm being accosted here.
It's all right.
She's
It's
literally
all good.
prying my arm off.
Get her headphones and a
She's putting
microphone.
me in an arm bar. Hold on, I'm in an arm bar. Keep talking, Bix. I'll be back.
Oh, B. So yeah, CJ, I was down in LA for a week, and I tried to stay away from all the crypto news and the silver news and basically all the news, but it's hard to stay away.
It is. I mean, I know that Dex took a week last week. I tried to shut down a little bit as well, but it's such an evolving thing. It's fast paced. You got to stay with it.
True, true. But we had an absolute blast, and it was well needed after all this crap I've been working on. So yeah, I'm refreshed and ready to go, and have a new outlook on where things are going and where we might head. And I think the real exciting thing is it's becoming more and more clear that cryptos are bottoming once again, which is great. So we're in line for the next crocodile tooth, as Clip High calls them. And this will happen all summer. Huge jumps and then huge fallbacks, huge jumps and then huge fallbacks. So if you haven't gotten into cryptos yet, you should be uh, basically selling your.
All right, I'm back. I'm back.
I'm telling everybody get into
Uh,
cryptos because we're probably bottoming at this.
well, we'll get it. We'll get into cryptos, bro. But the first things first is we got to talk about your birthday vacation to LA.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
start off with that first, man. That's what I want to
53,
hear, the juicy details. You wild man.
53 years old.
That's it.
My kids were down there. My wife was down there.
You look great for 53. I thought you were like 40s, like early 40s, bro.
You're so kind.
Oh, it's the bromance that you and I have going on, bro. That's what it
It's
is.
that Indiana Jones line. It's not the years, it's the mileage.
Yes.
There's a lot of
You're
mileage.
obviously low mileage.
I don't know about that, but I had a blast. Had a great time, and if you ever go do that thing, make sure you go to Universal Studios as well,
Yeah.
because that was it's more adult and it's and you get the we had the VIP tour, so you go in the back lot and all that stuff, and you got to cut in line every time, which is great.
Yeah.
So it was a
Exactly.
blast.
Well, that's good, dude. That's awesome. You
Yeah,
know.
bring in the
So
new year.
that's a great way to celebrate, my man. So let's. What about the latest silver flash crash, man?
Yeah,
What does that mean, Bix? What does it
I was
mean?
I was on vacation when that happened, and everybody's emailing me, and I'm truthfully I'm saying what else is new? It's on a computer program. They can set the price to zero with the click of a mouse if they wanted to. But these are rare that they'll do this. It was a from what I hear, it was a 11% drop, an instant drop. Rob Kirby said it was 50 million ounces of silver dumped on the market in 1 minute at the least traded time of all, which was like 7:15 p.m. I think Eastern time, and there was nobody there, and they dumped 10,000 contracts on the market. Of course, they ran all the stop losses. That was the whole idea: run the stop losses, load up, and then within 2 or 3 days, the price was right back to where it was. The price went down from like $16 to 14.23, I think was the low.
That's a great opportunity, man.
Well, it is, but you're not the one who's sitting there ready to do it because the market's so thin. So, the criminals start loading up on the stop loss guys out there, and those guys wake up the next day and they got nothing. They got nothing in their account. They're saying, what happened to my all my gains? I got stopped out with a flash crash, and the exchange, the CME says, oh, it was a glitch. Well, are they going to give back the money if it was a glitch? Are they going to give back all the contract ownerships? No. Let the buyer beware if you're playing on the CME and the COMEX. It's criminal. But having said that, if you look at I did some calculations on last year's silver volume. So
Yeah.
Let's just look at that Friday, or it was Thursday night and Friday, the 7th, really, that the flash crash happened, and the
Correct.
volume spiked to the average daily volume on that day was 175,000 contracts, which is 850 million ounces. Well, represents 850 million ounces of silver in a single day that traded hands.
That's totally normal.
Well, it's not that far off, truthfully. I mean, I did the calculations for 2016, and the average daily volume every day was 80,000 contracts a day, which came out to times 250 trading days in a year. That's over 100 billion ounces of electronic silver contracts traded in 2016. The insanity of that number. There hasn't been 100 billion ounces of physical silver mined in the history of history. And they're trading that every year on the COMEX. Completely criminal operation. And if you look at the people who are the big players, Scotiabank, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, it's all the same criminals that rig the LIBOR rates and everything else. That gold and silver has been proven that it's manipulated. We've seen the emails of people manipulating it, and still the CFTC lets these people trade and hold physical silver. And that's the big thing for JP Morgan. I was looking at their silver holdings right now because I think it was about a year or 2 years ago, maybe longer than that, 5 years ago, they opened up a CME designated vault where they could hold silver. And in that brief time that they've been around, everybody else is like Brinks and CMT Depository, Delaware Depository, HSBC, the Depository Services of Delaware, Amit, and Scotiabank. All these guys, including JP Morgan, there's 213 million ounces in inventory.
Right.
And of that, JP Morgan holds 112 million of them.
Yep.
So it's over half held by JP Morgan. And the majority of those, it's really interesting, are in the eligible designation,
right,
and not the registered.
Well, Bix, I mean, JP Morgan did say silver is worthless. That's why they're holding so much. They're doing all of us a favor. They want to get this worthless metal off the market so nobody buys it.
Well, yeah, but look where they are. They're holding metal for the COMEX. They are holding metal for the SLV.
You know who else is holding metal for the COMEX? The Delaware Depository.
Yep, they're on there. They have 16 million ounces. 16.7. But JP Morgan has their knees so deep in storage of metal, the trading of metal. They're the largest trader in the world of metal. They took over the the Bear Stearns silver short position, that monster short hot potato that keeps going around. They took that over, and they are the custodian with massive conflicts of interest in SLV.
Right.
I mean, how is that allowed that the custodian is also the largest trader in that market? And
there's no conflict of interest there.
Oh my God. And I'm sure Blythe Masters would have said back when she ran this department, would have said, oh, we have a firewall, Chinese wall between each one of those divisions. Yeah.
Yes. They have a firewall, a Japanese paper wall between each of them, with holes cut in between conveniently. Yeah. But there's it's totally normal. It's a public service they're doing for all of us, Bix.
The interview she gave on CNBC about silver manipulation right after one of the big manipulations, she's saying, "Oh, we don't own any directional positions at all.
Of course not.
We just work for our clients."
That's it, because either the U.S. government performing client funds,
U.S. government, or a subsidiary of J.P. Morgan, which is their client. I mean, the insanity of this. And then, when Blythe Masters said that, within a few months, she got busted for rigging the energy markets. Got a
Of
slap on the wrist,
course.
of course.
Well, here's the thing with a name like Blythe Masters, which is like I think is the ultimate comic book villain name. Sounds like a villain from like Marvel. It sounds like somebody the Avengers would go fight.
Yeah.
You expect nothing less from Blythe.
Well, you look at her history, and she was in charge of setting up and promoting the credit default swaps with J.P. Morgan.
Yep.
With
And the IR
Kong.
swap as well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but mainly the credit default swaps, which a lot of people say were the cause of the implosion in 2007, 2008.
That was the Semtex, my man. And
Yeah.
she is the queen of the derivatives, and she's the queen of the the CDOs, bro.
Oh yeah, you read that book, Fool's Gold by Gillian Tett.
Yeah.
Unbelievable account of what was going on with J.P. Morgan. And J.P. Morgan got out of most of their credit default swaps right before the implosion because they saw it coming, which is really interesting because Blythe Masters got out of running the commodities division of J.P. Morgan as she knew what was coming down the line, and where she went was a blockchain development company, Digital Assets Holdings, which is working with the DTCC to get their pause and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So really interesting conspiracy stuff. I think for when you stand back and look at it, something like this happens to silver, it's a good sign that something's going to change in the silver market. So I'm excited about silver. I went and bought some yesterday. I'm exhausted and tired from lifting it and driving to my secret storage spot and hiding it.
Yeah.
So
you probably have apart from JP Morgan, the only other entity that has a bigger a large position in silver would be you.
It's buried in a Folgers coffee can in the ground, my friend.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's several 55-gallon oil drums
I
on
wish.
the port of Long Beach in a storage container.
That's ultimately my plan is take some crypto profits after the next run up.
Keep making bets with Gus Demas, and you'll get more.
I know. I got to get on the cusp with Gus, man. That it's a party happening.
It is a party, man. It is it's a good time. It really is a good time.
I know. I listen every week.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Gus is the man. He's the kind of guy you want to go out drinking with.
And I have. Oh, if he got cut off, it must be a babysitting duty thing he had to run into.
She probably unplugged his mic or something.
Daddy, what's this cord for?
You don't need this anymore, Dad.
All right, I'm back. I had to replug my mic. Sorry about that.
No worries. We thought you got taken over. The kid took over the whole operation and down.
It almost is. It's like I have a little Stewie here. It's trying to, but the female version. It's trying to plot my demise and try to take over as the next gorilla.
I can't even imagine a female gorilla. I'm sure she's cute as a button.
Oh,
very hairy.
Look at a little baby Sasquatch.
You're
recording Congo, the Congo silver coin.
Oh yes. Okay, first two things I want to make two announcements. My Oscar-winning performance is out on video, so I recommend every one of you see my performance on my latest movie that is right now out on video called Kong Skull Island, where I play a giant ape saving humanity from monsters on a small island. And the post credits. Keep watching the post credits because it's going to foreshadow my future combat, which I will have with Godzilla. So that's out. So go out and show your support and love for the hairy ape by getting Kong Skull Island. And also, South Africa has released, actually the Republic of Congo has, or Zimbabwe as we know it today, has released a 1-ounce gorilla coin with my face on the front and back.
Wow.
Dude, it's talk about a collector's item. London Paul sourced that for me. He showed it to me and let me know that Robert Mugabe is a huge fan. He's a huge fan of me, and he's thinking about converting Zimbabwe from a hyperinflated Zim dollars because he realized, following the advice of Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen is not a wise move. So they are going to go with a gold-backed crypto.
Yeah, we gotta wait till it happens, and then we'll get all excited about it. I heard Janet might be on the way out soon. They're talking about Cohen going in
Well,
there.
she did say there's not going to be a financial crisis in her lifetime. Usually, when these hags usually say that, they usually drop dead. Then the financial crisis comes. So I'm praying that Janet stays alive a little bit longer because there's more assets like cryptos and metals that I'm looking to purchase before this whole before Yellen turns over croaks.
Yeah, I talked to Cliff High about, does he see a collapse coming, and he's like, it's kind of a slow, drawn out collapse as the crypto world begins to grow and takes over the infrastructure of the trade, of the exchanges, of the trading, of the banking system, of pretty much everything business related.
Oh man, absolutely.
So yeah, it's really exciting as far as millions of people probably won't die from this, but I think a lot will go to jail.
Yep. And the cool thing is this, man. When you talked about when we talked about 2012, 2013, I've seen a sharp uptick, and I used to report back then, even in 2013 and 14 and 15, it was heightening considerably. You had a lot of sovereigns, you had a lot of nations out around the world that were de-dollarizing. And what people need to understand, they were de-dollarizing by creating alternative dollar settlement systems. They were creating alternative currency swaps, currency unions, trade unions that were the economic unions that were taking shape all throughout the world in an effort to de-dollarize. And what people need to realize with cryptocurrencies is not just it's the people's way of de-dollarizing. So we want to think about that. With China and Russia and all these guys buying massive amounts of gold, they're de-dollarizing. With us buying cryptos, we are de-dollarizing, and it's a powerful, powerful effect, Bix.
Oh yeah, and it's a global form of money. Get ready for about 1,000 one world currencies.
Yep.
Because all these currencies are pretty much traded on these exchanges around the world. There's so many exchanges that trade crypto for crypto that it's a great thing. And those who think the U.S. government, is going to come in and shut it down, better think again, because it's the U.S. government's plan to implement it and to get it going, to take out these banksters, the criminal bad guys. That's all part of the good guys' plan. So if anything, the laws that will be governing the cryptocurrencies and the blockchain companies will get stronger to protect them even more.
Yeah.
And it'll be like a crime punishable by death to hack somebody's cryptocurrency.
Yep, absolutely. 1,000%, man. So cryptos are bottoming. Are we
I think they are. I think if they're not now, they will very soon, this week or next week, and then you're going to see a really fast run up because nobody lost the sentiment. The people who are in the cryptos didn't lose any of the sentiment. They just said, "Hey, we got a little ahead of ourselves." The real good traders have already sold out and are starting to buy again. I read on Zero Hedge, this guy who made I think it was $400 million on the Ethereum trade and sold at the top, and then clearly he knows what he's doing. He's going to get in at the bottom and do the same thing going up.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I know people that have made ridiculous amounts of money in cryptos since we've been telling them for the last 10, 11 months to jump on in. People who have put in 10 grand are now worth $260,000. People who put in 3 grand are worth $100,000. It is it's an exciting time, my man. It's an exciting time.
It is, but it takes some study. It takes some working on. Okay, especially with these ICOs that are getting released, the initial coin offerings of these startup companies. Basically, for the most part, their products aren't even going to come online until next year. Some of them this year, but what they're offering is basically it's the wild, wild west of just like the .com days in the early 1990s. Very similar to that, and a lot of these companies won't be around, but a lot will. And the ones that survive and are strong and have good technology and a good concept are going to be the Amazons and the Apples and the Googles of the world in 5 or 6 years. I swear to you, it's true. Would you go offline again? You can't hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right.
I'm right there with you in terms of the research and understanding the ICOs. I mean, everything has risk, right? Regardless of whether you're in the stock market, the metals. I mean, it's all calculated risk. So do your homework.
And you got to get comfortable with the risk, and you want to invest in perceived risk that you understand is not that risky. That's what's going on right now. There's so much perceived risk in the blockchain type companies that everyone's saying, staying away from it because they haven't spent the time and gotten comfortable with the technology yet. And will this technology be around? And what are the benefits of the blockchain? The benefits of the blockchain are that it's a trust machine. And in a world that trust has absolutely gone out the window on every exchange, in every market, in our government, in society in general, the people will demand something that's trustworthy, and that's what the blockchain brings. So these companies that utilize the blockchain, either through the Ethereum blockchain or on their own, are going to do extremely well because you can trust what's going on, and you can trust it because you can see it right there. You can see every transaction.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this with Rory in terms of people's comfort level, their comfort zone, and I think it's a natural tendency that we all kind of fear things we don't understand, and I kind of relate it back to the time period, Bix, that people used to feel very comfortable carrying a checkbook in their back pocket, right? Going to the grocery store, paying with checks, and then when banks started introducing these debit card, it was like, what in the world is this thing? How is this thing going to work? How does this thing have money on it? And not necessarily that they're exact in comparison, but I think it's just that getting past that mind state that what is cryptocurrency, what can I use it for, how am I going to use it for, and I really think it really has to be kind of an individual approach to it. You know what I mean?
I agree, and that's what you're talking about is the evolution of money. What makes the best form of money? The gold guys have always said gold, but they never said gold was perfect because gold has its problems in that it's not a limited supply. People can always find more gold, and there's a lot of gold hidden, in my opinion. But it's kind of bulky to carry around for larger purchases and things like that. It's got its limitations, but for a long time that was the best the world had because of the scarcity factor. Now it is not. Gold is not the best form of money anymore. The cryptocurrencies are because there's a fixed scarcity, in my opinion, and it's easy to use. By using your phone, it'll become easier and easier. The speed and the cost are what needs to be fixed, and I think they are being fixed with some of the new improvements to Bitcoin. Although Bitcoin I don't see as being used in day-to-day transaction. I think Litecoin, it will be 50 times faster at some point. It's already 4 times as fast, and it's already much, much cheaper to use. So where Bitcoin, the core programmers said, we're gonna put our arms around Bitcoin and we're gonna make it as safe as possible. We don't care how fast it is or how much it costs to use. Litecoin came out and said, well, if you're going to give up that part of the market, the 7 billion people wanting to do transactions part, we'll jump in and we'll fortify Litecoin. And that's exactly what's happening. And Litecoin has been booming. I think the next big move for a crypto will be Litecoin.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, man. I think Litecoin is massive, built on the light networks, the speed, the flexibility. I think it's definitely going to be a winner. No doubt about it. And I think with the price moves that we've seen with Litecoin going up to $38, so Litecoin $40 Litecoin, I think the next move is this August. I could possibly see it hitting 50.
It already hit 50.
Oh, there you go. I'm early with my predictions.
It hit 50. It came back. Well, I think your predictions are way off.
Oh,
I think Litecoin will hit this year. It'll hit $1,000 a coin, and by sometime next year, it'll cross the price of Bitcoin, and have Bitcoin going way up over 10,000 a coin. So Litecoin, I think, way, way, way. You're underestimating the need for it for 7 billion people on planet Earth to use something as a means of transaction, a form of currency that when the old system fades away and goes away, which these banks are teetering again already, I think the cryptocurrencies will be standing there, and Litecoin will be the easiest, fastest, and cheapest to use.
Yeah, wholeheartedly, man, without a doubt. That being said, what else is on your radar, my man? Otherwise, we can talk about the new Road to Ruta promotion.
Well, let's save that to the end. I have 2 promotions coming up on the Road to Ruta, and here's how I do it. For my private road subscribers, the guys who pay to keep the lights on the private road, I give them either a silver coin or a $30 in Bitcoin, or right now I've been giving out Ethereum, $30 in Ethereum. And announcing here as we speak, I just figured out how to do this. I'm going to give out $30 in Veritasium, which is hard to get unless you're the kind of computer savvy. But I'm going to give out hard wallets, $30 of Veritasium for every private road subscription or renewal.
Oh, wow.
So those who want to get Veritasium have been like begging for it. I'm giving it away, baby.
That is what is up. I mean, get your crypto and your newsletters all in one shot. Get informed and get rich at the same time.
Exactly. But my problem right now is, I know people want the Veritasium, but I also have, almost in shipping form right now, a new Road to Ruta coin that I might just sit on.
Oh, that's right. I heard you tell me last time you're working on it, huh?
Yeah, it's just about done. I might just sit on that until silver starts running in September, and then introduce a new little special. But right now, I think people will be really excited about getting Veritasium and putting in there. I had a guy, I gave him 20. It was the $199 was the subscription price a couple years ago, and I was giving away Ethereum, and Ethereum was like $10. So I was giving away 3 or 2 Ethereum, $20 worth, and he's like, "Holy shit! This is already paid for my subscription, and I got more." I think Veritasium is going to do exactly the same thing. I think Veritasium will outperform any other cryptocurrency, even the new ICOs coming out.
Wow.
And that's because it's going to be in there replacing the criminal system, the criminal exchanges like the COMEX, like the New York Stock Exchange. They're in.
Now, for the listeners, could you explain exactly what Veritasium is?
No, I can't actually. I can't explain it exactly. But what it is,
it's a platform.
It is a platform, and it's a token that is used for peer-to-peer transactions. So you can trade a stock, a bond, anything, cutting out the middleman. And the way Reggie Middleton is putting this all together, he's got a team going down to Jamaica right now they signed an MOU with Jamaica to develop a decentralized crypto exchange of stock, because the Jamaica Stock Exchange is just as corrupt as ours, if not more. But
man, me I not know what you're talking about, saying that our stock exchange is mad corrupt, man. You hear?
But what's happening is he's going to go down there, and they're not going to stop trading on the Jamaican Stock Exchange. So keep that system going. Yeah. But right next to it, they're going to build a decentralized system using Reggie's Veritasium token and his methodology of transacting stock trades peer-to-peer, person-to-person. So you don't pay any broker fees or anything like that. You do have to use the Veritasium token, which is good for Veritasium. But what it does is it shows every transaction. It's verifiable. It's completely different than what goes on today. You can't do the high-frequency trades, and it'll change the way people trust the system. So when his system gets up and running, supposedly by August, they're going to be people choosing either to trade on the current corrupt market in Jamaica or trade on the Jamaican decentralized Veritasium market. And it's a no-brainer. If you want to go buy a stock and you want to make sure that you actually purchase that stock, and you don't want to pay a broker to do it for you because they don't do it anyway, they just put it into their pool. if this works, and I think it will work, I think the technology has already been proven. But when it works, it'll be a framework for the rest of the world on how to fix the problem of the criminal comics.
I think it will work. Reggie Middleton's a brilliant guy. See, we got to see if we get Reggie on. Maybe do an interview with Reg. Just talk about VERI-coin.
Yeah, he can explain it much better than I can. I'm just a mild mannered investor.
Yeah.
But this token and the way he's doling it out, I think there's only 100 million or so tokens that are out there. Mm-hmm. Out of all the tokens that are going to be out there, and he's because he's a Wall Street guy. He knows the ins and outs. He's been in the game, and he said there's a better way to do this to cut out the middleman, and the middleman sucks off so much in froth and in corruption. And
jeez, tell me about it.
It's incredible. So if we could have peer-to-peer transactions in stock,
you know what that means, bro? The stockbroker is he's an endangered species all of a sudden.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, think what's happening here, folks. I mean, let's take a step back. Let's look at what's happening here. What a brave new world. We are truly living the future. Let's look at it this way. The stockbroker is obsolete. The lawyer is obsolete thanks to smart contracts. Look what that's doing to lawyers and the entire lawyer and law industry when it comes to business contracts. Done. It's incredible what's happening. Everything is going decentralized, and the powers that be cannot stand it.
Well, I think the powers that be are being removed. So that's the part of the Trump movement and the people who control Trump.
Speaking of which, did you hear more pedo arrests the other day?
They're getting higher up the chain too, I hear.
Ooh, yes, indeed.
And there was a documentary on it was like a 2020 documentary in England. Somebody sent me that just aired about the pedophiles in the up high in the government, and they're showing this stuff, and the people are just shocked and saying, well, why are these guys still walking around free?
Yeah,
I mean, it will come down. The hammer will come down. From what I've heard is that most of the children that were being held captive have already been freed and released, and they have plenty of evidence on these. I heard it's about a third of Congress. So it's going to get really ugly. There will be as the Democrats like to say, a constitutional crisis.
For them, it's going to be a constipational crisis because once the names are out,
it's the Democrats and the Republicans.
Good. It's going to be a constipational crisis for all these establishment pedophile sycophants. And once the names are out, I recommend a public firing squad to execute these individuals if they're lucky, or we just hang them from the lampposts.
A lot of them will probably take their own lives, I would assume.
I recommend to all the pedos that are listening in now, please take your own life. Otherwise, I will.
Yeah, there will be no. It really has pissed off a lot of the police, like the new NYPD, because they had all this dirt. They've had it for a long, long time.
Right.
And the FBI has been holding it back.
Any human being could be like, I mean, think about it. I mean, you and I we're all three of us, you, me, CJ, we're all like red-blooded men. This pisses us off to no end, dude. Like, we would like literally bash these idiots' heads in.
Okay.
But
they're still like John Podesta's still walking around. Tony Podesta's still walking around.
Did you believe that tweet that skinny little pencil neck did like a few weeks ago? He taunted.
He was he was kind of the ringleader in Washington.
Of course.
He's on the Democratic side in supplying and throwing parties with these young children, and it was part of how he blackmailed people and what he liked to do. And it is so horrible what went on. And I still, to this day, I can't believe that guy's walking around free.
I can't believe it, man. I can't believe Skippy Podesta's walking around. I can't believe the fact that this guy actually tweeted out a few weeks ago, seriously, this is the best pizza ever, at Comet Pizza. He tweeted that out. And he goes, I know this. I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this. So I responded back and I said, F you, Skippy.
I'm sure you are one of millions.
Oh my God, billions of people that responded to that. This guy's he's a prick, dude. If I see this guy walking the street, And if he doesn't have a bodyguard on him, God help him. Hell, if he does have a bodyguard on him, I'll take Skippy and beat the bodyguard down for guarding a dirtbag like this.
Maybe you can invite him to come on to cuss with Gus with you and Gus.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Me and Gus. You leave Skippy in a room with me and Gus for 5 minutes. We'll have him confessing to everything. We'll have him confess to the JFK assassination, to the Sharon Tate murders. We'll have him confessing to everything, man.
Yeah.
Even have him confessing to the invention of vanilla Coke, which is a disgusting flavor, if you ask me.
Yeah, one of the many Coca-Cola mistakes that they've made.
Yes.
But back to the pedophile stuff, I do think it's coming down over sometime the end of summer is what I'm hearing. And because once you hit the big guys, then everybody has to go.
Right.
Because you can't take one down because they're, hey, he's buddies with what's his name, and what's his name has parties, is in charge of a child foundation, things like that. It gets bad. And John McCain is the latest. He is getting fried very soon for being the one who orchestrated and probably ordered up the dossier, the Russia dossier on.
Oh, you gotta love it. Fusion 5, McCain, the Russian lawyer set up. It was all fake just to set up Don Jr.
Yep, and Trump himself.
Yep.
So, I mean, these people. Comey commits how many crimes by releasing and leaking public or private top secret documents, and he's still walking around. All these people keep walking around, and where is there's supposedly a new head of the FBI being sworn in today, or going through the gauntlet today. I don't know what the deal is, but my God, what happened to our country?
Yeah. Christopher Wray.
Yeah,
I think
I would assume if who nominated him? Is it Trump who nominates him?
I don't know. FBI. I don't know. That's a good, Trump picks Christopher Wray to be FBI director.
Yeah.
President Trump announced that he had selected Christopher A. Wray to be his FBI director, and this is from the New York Times. Former federal prosecutor who recently defended Crispy.
Did you say Crispy?
I said Crispy.
On the beach. On the beach, he closed down. They got a aerial picture of him and his family enjoying a nice private beach because he shut down the beach.
Yeah, he's such a great guy. That guy, Crispy.
Oh my God! So many criminals. So many.
Thank God. I mean, this is the problem with power, man. These politicians are they think they're above the law, and this is the problem that we see happening all over the place. So this guy Chris Wray is a safe mainstream pick from a president who at one point was considering politicians for a job that he has historically been kept outside of a partisanship. Former assistant attorney general overseeing the Justice Department's criminal division under George W. Bush, Mr. Wray is likely to allay the fears of FBI agents who worry that Mr. Trump would try to weaken or politicize the FBI. Good, he's got seems like a pretty good hotshot. Let's see what happens.
Well, if he makes it through, the good guys ultimately decide this stuff, and you can tell who the bad guys are by how the questions that are asked. Because if this guy does his job, a third of Congress will go to jail.
Right.
So these Congress people are fighting for their lives, really.
Oh man, they're scrambling. I think the timing of the whole entire Trump Jr. setup was not a coincidence, man. I think the timing is going to be.
You heard the what was it, the Russian contact was like buddy with Obama and his group.
Oh, well, they were appointed by Obama. They were invited into that special hearing. With Fusion 5 and this so-called Russian lawyer who claimed to have connections to the Kremlin but had no connections whatsoever. And it was a total setup. It was a complete setup to set up Donald Trump Jr. And this is starting to blow back and explode on their faces, man. I love it. I love seeing this.
Yeah. So I'll be happy. Oh, did you hear the CNN contract with the airports is expiring?
Oh, good. So next time we're sitting in the terminals, Bix, we don't have to sit around and watch that garbage anymore.
I'm sure they'll bid on it again, but apparently next month, yeah. I am
I don't.
so sick
I
of
don't
seeing
Hanna
senators.
Barbera bid on Yogi Bear cartoons is rerunning on the airports instead of CNN. I mean, since that contract's coming up,
I think Alex Jones should bid for it. That would be
I
awesome.
think you and I should bid for it.
Yeah, 24/7. Bix should be
That's it.
hump day every day, baby.
Every day. I don't know if the people can handle that, Bix. I don't know if
No,
the
they
people can
can't.
handle that. It might be too much. It might be too much. They gotta do it in small doses, man. Small doses.
I know. Yeah, we'll put Cuss with Gus on there as one of the programming highlights.
Yeah, that'll be the rated R version right there.
I
Cuss
know.
with Gus.
You'd have to bleep out every other word.
Every other word. I mean, people. It was just the whole program will be bleeps.
It's good for it. All right. So my announcement about Veritation, I was just checking it out. The circulating supply is 1.9 million right now,
That's it.
and the total supply. Yeah. Well, he's trying to
So
slowly.
he's spiggeting it out right now.
Oh yeah, he knows this is just the beginning of this game. I mean, this is going out.
Amazing.
Cliff High's data has this stuff going out decades.
Yeah.
Think of that, decades, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And everything from the bad system will move over to a trustworthy, honest system. And we are such in the early days. It's insane when people say, oh my God, the cryptocurrencies are in a bubble. They have no clue what's coming. No clue at all. And all that money that's hidden away in the Bahamas and Antigua, in Panama, all that money from the bad guys that they have hidden away is going to come flying out of its hiding places and into these cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I mean, even the money that's been stashed away all throughout the Caribbean that are not in nefarious hands, that are in actually good people's hands who just don't feel like, reporting every single nickel and dime.
Well, and then every central bank around the world will be printing their currency to buy the cryptocurrencies.
Well, look what China's doing, man. They're going to do a complete RMB yuan swap into a crypto. I mean, that's a first. They're serious about it. They're the tip of the spear on this thing.
I think the people are the tip of the spear.
Yeah, it is.
China's going to allow it. The U.S. is right up there too. I mean, we have a lot of technology, blockchain technology companies rising up. The laws for the block, they're not even enforcing the laws right now. I mean, you could call these tokens that are being sold in the ICOs, you can easily call them securities, but the SEC isn't.
Yeah.
They're basically saying, hey, we want this industry to develop and thrive, and we're going to throw no roadblocks in its way.
Absolutely, that's the way it should be, man. The market will regulate itself.
Until the price gets too high, and then they'll announce something like, "Oh, we're gonna search you if you leave with $10,000 worth of cryptocurrency."
Yeah, you're gonna search me.
Okay.
How are they gonna search me?
That's the funniest thing I ever heard. I go, how does one enforce that law? I mean, where is cryptocurrency? You don't keep it in your pocket. It's out there on every single ledger, on every single computer that runs the blockchain.
Correct. Number one.
There is no location for cryptocurrencies.
Number two, the only thing that the TSA is good for stopping is any shampoo bottles that are bigger than 3 ounces. They're very adept at stopping that. But in terms of if I want to leave the country, and they stole your toothpaste.
They stole my toothpaste going down to Disneyland.
Yeah, ooh, Tom's toothpaste. I'm gonna take it. They stole your Crest and your Colgate. But that's
where does
about
all that go, though? Where do all the confiscated items go from?
Here's the deal, man. If I want to take my Bitcoin wallet out of the country, there's nobody going to stop that. If I got like $100,000 in Bitcoin, and nobody's going to stop. They can't stop that. They wouldn't even know how to check for that in the airport. If I had a physical wallet, there's no way to check for it. Period. That's why these stupid politicians still don't get it. They're passing laws like, "Oh, we're gonna tax and regulate the."
I think they knew what they were doing. I think they knew what they were doing on this one because they wanted to slow down the price appreciation because Bitcoin was starting to go crazy, and they threw that little law out there just to slow down the appreciation. They didn't want to go too fast.
Right.
And it's kind of been the whole modus operandi of the good guys is the slow, steady pace. Let these companies get built. Let this system be implemented, and then the transition will be much better. Because without it, if it was just the gold and silver like it was before, the only other alternative, millions of people would have died because there would be no food, no water, electricity, anything when the banks shut down.
Right.
You have something like the cryptos, you've got a transition thing.
You have the perfect transition. The perfect transition.
I don't know if there is a perfect. The perfect transition would be if never to gotten ourselves in this.
Of course, but it's perfect for what it is right now, man. It's just, without causing the loss of
And I didn't think it could be done.
tens of millions of lives.
I've been saying that for 5 years. Is these guys are trying to make a smooth transition, and there is no smooth transition. There's no way to make a smooth transition. And now I'm saying, well, maybe there is a way, at least smoother, if the cryptos start, being adopted and you get your speed and your cost down, which is what Litecoin is doing in spades. There's a announcement coming out of MIT supposedly on August 1st, the same day that the SegWit guys are planning to do their little dance with Bitcoin. And the rumors are it's going to make Litecoin. It's a Litecoin announcement. It's going to make Litecoin extremely fast, ultra fast, like almost instantaneous. So it would be great to use Litecoin for your day-to-day transactions. Roger Ver could have his cup of coffee with Litecoin.
There you go. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, man. With that being said, my friend, I think we've come to the end of the broadcast. Another electric hump day.
Get back to your babysitting duties, my friend.
That's it, my man. That's it. Why don't you plug your website, your newsletter, and how people can find you, man? Go for it.
roadtoruta.com. Get a private road subscription. And for a short time only, you get $30 of paper wallet Veritasium mailed to your front door.
That's a win-win right there.
That's a win-win. Win a chicken dinner.
That's it, brother. You can buy a couple of chicken dinners with that Veritasium, that's for sure.
Yeah, in a year, you'll buy a couple cars, probably.
You can buy a whole chicken coop. You can buy a chicken concentration camp if you wanted to. With that being said, folks, thank you all for listening in, and you can check us out on roguemoney.net and follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money. Check us out on Rogue Money Facebook, and every single podcasting app known to man, and Apple News as well. With that being said, CJ, take us away, buddy.